Who are you? A name, a face in the mirror, a voice that responds when someone calls. Are you the sum of your memories? That child laughing in old photographs, the teenager dreaming of the future, the adult managing routines and responsibilities? Or are you the story you carry? A personal narrative that seems to follow you from room to room, from year to year, shaping how you speak, act, and feel. But stop for a moment and ask, who or what is holding that story together? That voice in your head, the one always running commentary, the one that narrates, plans, judges, recalls, regrets, hopes. Is that voice truly you, or is it something else? Is it possible that what we call I is not a fixed entity, but a process, a pattern, an illusion crafted so seamlessly, we never think to question it? Today, on the Pathless Path, we explore the hidden architect of the personal self, the ego, the invisible builder of boundaries, the storyteller behind the curtain, the one who says mine, me, and not me. We'll explore how the ego constructs the illusion of separation, and more importantly, how to see through it. The word ego comes from Latin. It simply means I. But over time, the meaning evolved. In psychology and philosophy, ego doesn't just refer to arrogance or inflated pride. It goes deeper. It points to the mental mechanism that organizes our sense of identity. The ego is like the conductor of an inner symphony, the invisible narrator behind your every thought, feeling, and decision. It's the voice in your head that says, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what happened to me, this is what defines me. It draws boundaries around experience. This is my body, these are my memories, this is my success, and my pain. It labels everything it encounters, and it attaches. The ego shapes your identity, your preferences, your beliefs, your goals, your wounds. It builds a personal timeline, a beginning, a middle, a future. And at the center of that story is you, or so it seems. The ego tells a story, a rich, emotional, ever-changing narrative, and it casts you as the main character, a separate self, navigating a world of other selves. But here's the deeper question. Is this story true? Or is it just that, a story? Why does the ego exist at all? Because it helps us survive. Evolutionarily, the sense of I is useful. If I believe I'm this body, I'll protect it. If I believe I'm this person in society, I'll adapt to fit in. The ego helps us navigate danger. It gives our lives shape and structure. It allows us to function, communicate, and belong. But in doing so, it also creates a boundary, a wall between me and everything else. That boundary may be useful, but it's also an illusion. The ego draws a line in the sand. This is me, that is not me. It builds a boundary, a fence around an imagined self. And anything that passes through awareness, a thought, a feeling, a sensation, it quickly claims as its own. This thought is mine. That pain belongs to me. This belief defines who I am. But pause and ask, where do thoughts really come from? Do you sit down and deliberately create each one? Or do they simply arise, unbidden? Like clouds drifting into the sky of awareness, emotions swell and fade, memories flash and dissolve, sensations ripple through the body. And only afterward does the ego step in, like a commentator, labeling, owning, defining. That's me, that happened to me. I feel this. But what if the ego is just a storyteller arriving late to the scene? What if none of it truly belongs to anyone? What if awareness is simply watching it all? Silent, open, free. While the ego builds a fragile identity out of passing weather, the ego is a false center that we've mistaken for ourselves. Osho, it's not the source of experience. It's the one labeling it. The ego is also the voice in your head. It narrates your life like a running commentary, judging, comparing, rehearsing, replaying. I shouldn't have said that. They don't really like me. I'll never be enough. Or just as easily, I'm better than them. I deserve more than this. Whether it tears you down or lifts you up, it's still ego. Because the ego doesn't care if the story is tragic or triumphant. It only cares that there is a story, that you are the main character, that the narrative keeps spinning. Because if the story ever truly stopped, if there were just silence, just presence, just this moment. The ego fears it would disappear, and in a way, it would. Because the ego can't survive where no story is needed, only being remains there. And to the ego, that feels like death. But to awareness, it is freedom. The ego is fragile, and it has to be because it's made of thoughts, ideas, labels, beliefs. It says, I am my profession, I am my nationality, I am what I believe, what I've achieved, what others say about me. It clings to roles: mother, student, artist, citizen, success, failure. And so, when those ideas are questioned, when someone disagrees with our opinion, when life pulls a role away from us, we feel it as an attack. Not because our body is in danger, but because the image we've built is beginning to crack. We defend these labels as if they were our very existence, because to the ego they are. But ask yourself, who are you without those labels? If your name vanished, if your job disappeared, if your memories faded, would you still be here? This is the ego's greatest fear, to be unknown, undefined, empty. Because in that emptiness, the ego cannot function, it cannot narrate, it cannot compare, it cannot control. It doesn't know who to be if there's no mask left to wear. But perhaps that emptiness isn't a void, perhaps it's freedom. You are not the ego, not the constant chatter, not the shifting roles, not the tight knot of identity held together by memory and desire. You are not the voice in your head, the one narrating, analyzing, comparing, fearing, striving. You are the awareness that hears that voice, the silent witness, untouched, unmoved, unchanged. You are not the story, not the name, not the past, not even the idea of you. You are the stillness in which the story arises and dissolves, the space that holds every thought yet is not contained by any of them. Ego is the lens, narrow-tinted, fragile. You are the light shining through it, always present, even when the lens distorts the view, even when the world appears fractured and full of fear. And in rare moments, in deep stillness, in awe before something greater than words, in the breathless silence of meditation, in the open heart of unconditional love, the lens falls away, and what's left is simple, effortless, whole. Not a person having an experience, but experience itself. Not someone in love, but love itself. You are not what comes and goes. You are that which remains, quiet, vast, free. The thoughts may return, the roles may resume, the voice in the mind may pick up again, replaying the old script, the familiar story. And that's okay, because now you've seen something deeper. Now you know the thoughts are not you, the roles are not you, the wave is not separate from the ocean. And even when the ego reappears, grasping for control, chasing approval, fearing the future, you can smile gently, because you are no longer fully in it. You are the awareness watching it. There is no need to fight the ego, no need to silence the mind. Just see it clearly. And in that seeing, something shifts. The grip loosens, the tension softens, the urge to fix, to win, to become dissolves. You realize, you don't need to transcend the human experience. You only need to be fully present within it, not as a separate self, struggling to survive, but as life itself, flowing through form. The miracle isn't escaping the world, it's seeing the sacred in every corner of it. The sound of rain on the roof, the curve of a leaf in the light, the warmth of a hand held without agenda. When you live from this space, you don't become passive. You become deeply alive. You listen more, you speak less. You move with care, not out of fear, but out of love. Decisions flow from clarity, not compulsion. Compassion arises without effort. And you respond to life not as someone defending a position, but as presence meeting itself. This is not about withdrawal. This is about full embodiment, walking the world not as a separate person, but as the world itself, awake to its own being. You are not the ego, not the voice in your head. You are the awareness that hears the voice. You are not the story, but the stillness in which the story appears. The ego is the lens. You are the light shining through, and in moments of deep stillness, in awe, in silence, in love, the lens falls away. What remains is simple, effortless, whole, no me, no mine, just this. Like and subscribe for more deep dives into consciousness and self. Don't forget to comment below. When have you caught your ego in action? And see you on our next video.